Henning and Jacob, this is from a student that is interested in about your transition to college with high school work, as well as going off to university level coursework. You both are in two completely different programs that first year. So if you could take it from the accelerated point of view, Jacob, if you ever feel overwhelmed being in an accelerated program, and then Henning, if you could take it a little bit from the academic resources side and some of the things we offer for first year students.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I was very nervous to start this nursing career. As a high school student, I was pretty average. I took pretty much regular base level classes and only a couple APs. So I was an average student and I wasn't, super high in my rank. It doesn't matter, but I was a little nervous that this was going to be too much for me and I wouldn't be able to handle it. But once I got to campus and I started feeling out the classes that I had first semester, everything kind of just fell into place. I didn't have too much. One thing I always tell my students on tour is in high school, you're there Monday through Friday for 6.5 hours a day, and you're constantly in class. Whereas in college, you still have, a good amount of classes or credits, but you still have more free time to be able to focus more on your homework and your studying, any projects that you're doing. So, the most I've had this semester is about 3 classes per day, and they were only about an hour each. And then, there's some days that I don't have any class, maybe like a Monday or Friday. So, going into the accelerated program, don't feel like the curriculum is crammed into 3 years. You're not doing anything more or less than, a 4-year program. You're just going over the summer, which is what supplementing your, 4th year per se. So nothing is crammed into like a regular 2-semester fall and spring. It's, spread out so that way you're not stretching yourself too thin, which a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, it's accelerated, it's too hard, you're gonna fail out, you can't do it. That's not the case. It's just like any other regular nursing program with just the summer attached to it. So that's something to definitely keep in mind if you're nervous about that aspect of the program, and if you're in any other accelerated program.
All right, so my high school experience was a little bit different. I took a whole bunch of APs, and because of it, I thought coming into an advanced setting with 9 AP credits under my belt, I thought I was practically invincible, which soon turned out that it was not the case. Because as Jacob said, some days you don't have any classes, some days you have classes very late. Like for me last semester, Tuesdays and Thursdays, my first class was 2 p.m. So I ended up sleeping until probably 1:30, rolling out of bed, barely having time to put on a shirt and brush my teeth before walking out of the door. So I started definitely struggling a little bit, which was something I did not think I would at all. So I became very familiar with a lot of the resources that the school has to offer. At MCPHS, there's a lot of things that you can go to, a lot of things you can do to get help. One of those things that I used quite a bit was the MAC team. And the MAC team is a part of CASE, which is an abbreviation for your faculty mentor and your academic coach. And those are 2 people on your profile who you can go to, you can make an appointment, you can even just walk in the CASE office and see if they have an availability and just walk in right into their office and talk to them. So a couple times last semester, I'd had a few midlife crises when I had an hour appointment with my faculty mentor, thinking I wasn't going to get into med school because I got a few B's and stuff. And they pointed me to a whole bunch of different resources. There's a science tutoring center. There's a writing center where you can go and get your essays revised and talked about with an English teacher. And there's just a whole bunch of facilities and resources available to make sure that you get the help you need to do the best you can in your classes, and just leave everything up to yourself. Just focus on getting internships and everything, because the academics are going to come.
Great, thank you. So we have a question. I think this would be geared towards Shweta and Kiro a little bit on how you balance volunteering, working, schoolwork, and any of your extracurriculars on campus, and how you found yourself to be successful at MCPHS and moving forward.
So there's a few activities I do mainly on campus and a few off campus. Just to list a couple, I work at the admissions office. I'm part of a few clubs like Indian Student Organization as well as Pre-Med Society. I don't want to give a long list or anything. And then I do volunteer off campus through the Family Van, which is associated with Harvard Medical School. And those are just like a couple of activities, but throughout my 4 years, I did volunteer here and there. I did work outside off campus. I think the way to manage it is honestly, I had a planner, kind of wrote everything out and just kind of like you're going to be doing activities, but you also have to realize that it's the activities you want to do at the end of the day. If it's something you're kind of forcing upon your plate, then it's going to be kind of like burdensome. But any of the activities I did choose in my past 4 years were something that I was interested in and that I really wanted to do. So it didn't really seem like a task. It just seemed like something to kind of like relieve my stress a little bit from like schoolwork as well, because you want to have a good like work-life balance, and doing the activities outside of campus keep you busy, and then after gear you back towards like your schoolwork and making sure you're on track. So I would say definitely get into more of the planner life. You don't have to do the whole color coding thing if you don't want to. I just pencil everything in. I just make sure that everything's on my calendar with all the dates that are coming up. And a week, I would say, especially for exam time, a week and a half before, kind of review what you have to do and what your week looks like. Depending on your job as well, just want to give this little like tidbit. Some jobs in the Longwood medical area, they're very well aware of who we are and who MCPHS is. So they will be flexible with hours depending on who your boss is. My boss was pretty flexible, especially when I had a couple of exams or an essay coming up. And that was really nice. And I think it's mainly because she was very familiar with the work that MCPHS students and alumni have done at like these hospitals and organizations. But biggest tip is planner and just looking at things a little bit in advance. Even after a class, just jotting a couple things down just to reiterate the notes. And it's just more for technique too, for my future, especially with med school. I want to make sure I kind of have some type of routine down. And I definitely think jotting everything and like planning it out in a way helped me a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Shweta about the whole planner thing. I came into college out of high school, I was like, I remember everything, it's fine. And then it wasn't working out very well. So I started doing the whole planner thing. I also started using sticky notes pretty rigorously. So I have sticky notes like all around, like I can like all over my laptop. It's a big thing now that I have sticky notes, like I do this, do that. And also like, using my phone as a reminder and all these things just to plan out everything. And also it's very important not to like overschedule yourself. You're a student and your academics are the highest priority in everything. So it is important that you get other jobs, like Shweta said, and it's important that you do all these other things. But at the same time, it's important to understand how to plan everything out. I work for CVS, I work for the admissions office. I'm also a pharmacy student, so there's a lot of things that I had to plan out. And I'm like, okay, I have to put this here. This is a priority. I have to work that many hours this week because I have an exam next week, stuff like that. I have to push everything like this. And the thing with it is that if you plan everything out in advance, everything out works really well. For example, organic chemistry exams are very, very, like people know that organic chemistry is one of the hardest classes you ever take in college as a healthcare student. And if you plan everything out correctly, if you plan it like, okay, the exam is in 3 weeks, I have blah blah lectures to have to do, blah, like I have to do this, the problem set, the blah, like all of these things. If you plan, I'm gonna do this much today, you don't have to finish a whole thick problem set in one night. If you plan out things correctly and overall long period of time, you're not going to be stressed and it's not going to be much work. It's also nice to have all like Henning said with the academic coach. The academic coach can help you out with that. They can let you know how to plan out everything and tell you if like you're doing right now is too much, and that's an important thing. Also, like Shweta said, a lot of the, like for example, the CVSs I've worked for, because as a CVS employee, you can work in different pharmacies to help them out. Most of our pharmacists and most of our pharmacy managers, some of them graduated from MCPHS and they understand everything that's happening. So if I told my boss, hey, like I have an organic chemistry exam, she's gonna be like, okay, I'll find you coverage, don't worry. Or if you're planning out like that, okay, this week I have an exam, you can't schedule me that week. She's like, fine. So people in the medical area understand that they're hiring students, and they hire students for a reason, because they know that we're here to learn and we're here to work. So understand that if you work in the medical area, or if you work in the area and all these things, or work on campus even, everyone around you is going to be very understanding, and don't worry that you're taking too much or doing a lot of things. But if you, like I said, if you plan everything out and understand everything in advance, everything is going to be good.
I just wanted to touch upon one thing that Kira mentioned. Sorry, I was just like making sure because I thought of it. But one thing to know is that like our students, like the older years, are very helpful to like when you first come in here. Like I mentioned, I am part of Indian Student Organization and I was president. One of our biggest things we did was something called Chai and Cram. So essentially for our first years, their first exam when it came to chemistry, we kind of gave them like the tips and tricks of how to like properly study with the type of exam that was going on. And we also have supplemental instruction at our school, which is typically taught by students who like did get an A in the previous course. So like Hiro mentioned, especially for organic chemistry, and when I was balancing my jobs as well as volunteering, I took advantage of those sessions because they were usually at nighttime when I wasn't working or volunteering. And it was like a really like an hour and a half session. You're with your friends and you're just getting a repetition in your mind about what to know for the exam.
Henning, can you talk a little bit about the course load for pre-med, especially your intro to the major, and how you feel like it helped you be prepared for going off into medical school, hopefully in the future after your 4 years?
Yeah, so I think as Leah alluded to earlier, first year we have a couple just like general science classes. We have chemistry 1, biology 1. We also have a required like writing class, so it's called expository writing. That's always really, really fun. You get a whole different like perspective on different things that I didn't think I'd be learning about coming to like a healthcare sciencey based school, and I definitely think I brought like a different way of thinking out of that class. In addition to that, we also have Intro to the Majors, Ali said. And Intro to the Major is a cool class because you're with 20 of your peers who are in your same major. And that's different than your biology lecture, your chemistry lecture, and the fact that those classes you'll be taking with people from all different types of majors, like PharmD students like Kiro or biology students like Sarah. You'd be with a whole bunch of different people, but Intro to the Major is with 20 to 30 people all from your major. So I got to meet 20 different pre-med students who I talk to almost on the daily now that we're all dealing with online school, trying to figure everything out. And you're also with a professor who is going to be one of your teachers down the line. So I was with Professor Barden, who is a biology teacher, and all the like older students are making faces because he's a lovely human being and he's the greatest person. And we got to learn about like what we kind of have to expect over the next 4 years. And in addition to that, we also learned like what we should be doing the summer of our freshman year, what we should be doing the summer of our sophomore year if we want the best chances of going to a DO school, an MD school, or something of the like. And it was a very good opportunity compared to what I would expect from a different school. And it cemented my decision to come to MCPHS in the sense that I feel very comfortable with my decision in a school and the fact that it'll get me to where I want to be in 4 years, hopefully a doctor in like 10 years or something. I have so much school left ahead of me. But yeah, Intro to the Major is awesome. And you should not be worried about academics at all your freshman year. That's the reality of it. And yeah, it's awesome.